Good morning. I'm State Representative Dan Swanson of Alpha in Henry County in northwestern Illinois. I am also a sixth-generation family farmer. Agriculture is Illinois' most important industry. Nearly 1 million people employed in the food and fiber industry here in Illinois. In Illinois, agriculture is critically important to the entire nation. We are among the nation's leaders in the production of soybeans, corn, and hogs. But because of our unique and varied geography and climate, Illinois is also known for growing a wide variety of agricultural products from cattle, sheep, poultry, to wheat, oats, fruits, and vegetables. We even produce specialty crops ranging from pumpkins to Christmas trees. And the vast majority of those products come from family farms. Illinois agriculture products generate over $50 billion annually. That figure includes crop production, of course, but also manufacturing of machinery, food production and sales, renewable fuels, and much more. In a district like mine, agriculture is essential to the survival of each and every one of our communities. Even our urban areas need agriculture, not just for food, but because of the sheer number of jobs and economic activity that is tied to agriculture. Chicago has one of the largest concentrations of food-related businesses in the world. So agriculture is critical to our state's present, but also to its future. That's why I introduced House Bill 1501, a bill to create an income tax credit for the owner of an agricultural asset who sells or rents that assets to beginning farmers. Most farming operations look for a son or daughter to carry on the family farm. My great-great-grandfather passed his family farm to my great-grandfather, who passed it to his son-in-law, my grandpa, who passed it to my dad, who is now passing it on to his children. There are young people in Illinois right now who want to get started in farming but don't always have the opportunity. We need to get that next generation up and running in agriculture. But the bill was not called for a hearing or vote before the deadline this spring. That was House Bill 1501. We need to get serious about supporting agriculture and securing its future in Illinois. Now to tell a little bit more is Representative Jason R. Bunting. Jason.
Thank you, Representative. Good morning. I'm State Representative Jason R. Bunting. For generations, my family has operated our farm near Emmington, which is in Livingston County in east central Illinois. Prior to serving the folks of the 106th District, I was Livingston County Farm Bureau President. As Representative Swanson just said, farming is one of the most important industries in the state of Illinois, but it is also one of the most dangerous. Farmers work with heavy equipment, large animals, and hazardous pesticides, and we do that in every weather condition Illinois has to offer. This year, I am once again sponsoring a resolution to declare Farm Safety Week in the fall. It's a chance to put farm safety in the spotlight and to not only inform and educate our farmers and their family members, but all of Illinoisans about the importance of farm safety. We have to do more. We must do more. Every year during planting season, which is currently taking place right now, and harvest season, we warn our friends and neighbors about slow-moving farm equipment using the roadways. And every year, unfortunately, we still have incidents. This year, I introduced House Bill 3204 and House Bill 3205, which would take our Scott's Law statute, the Move Over Law, which applies to law enforcement and other first responder vehicles, and expands it to farm implements. My bill would require drivers to make room for farm equipment on the roads so they can safely pass and clear the equipment. This legislation would make the roads safer for farmers and for every other Illinoisan who drives the rural areas of our state, ensuring that we all make it home safe to our families. Unfortunately, my bills were not allowed out of committee, so they did not get a vote this year. But our fight is not over. Everyone agrees that we farmers are essential to our state and its people. We should be taking action to keep us and everyone else safe while we perform our important and rewarding work. Thank you for your time. Now, here's State Representative Wayne Rosenthal to tell you a little bit more.
Thank you, Jason. Good morning. As Jason said, I'm State Representative Wayne Rosenthal of the 108th District, former Director of the Department of Natural Resources here in Illinois, and also a former Illinois Corn Marketing Board representative. I'm a fourth-generation family farmer, and with the help from my fifth and sixth generations, we have been total no-till since 1990. Our operation is across Christian, Montgomery, and Macoupin counties. It includes converting anything that annually flooded to timber or wetlands, and other environmentally sensitive grounds are currently enrolled in various conservation reserve programs. My family originally immigrated from Germany in the 1890s. My great-grandfather was the first to farm in Illinois, a tradition I have proudly continued and passed down to my sons and grandchildren. Today I stand here not just as a legislator, but as one of only 7 legislators one of only 7 farmers in the Illinois House of Representatives that are active farmers. I know firsthand what this unfair estate tax means, not just to my family, but for every farming family that I represent. The Illinois state tax falls more heavily on former land than almost any other class of taxable property. This isn't just a tax, it's a threat to our way of life. It's a direct threat to the very families who work hard to put food on our tables and create thousands of jobs across Illinois. Too often I've heard from families, friends, and neighbors who have been hit hard by this tax, forced to sell land, equipment, or their entire farm just to pay the bill. And too often, those sales lead to farms falling into the hands of distant owners, sometimes even private equity firms who have no ties to our communities, no stake in our soil, and have no history in our fields. Illinois state taxes are levied on property physically located here when its owners pass along. Unlike monetary assets that can be moved out of state, our land or equipment, it stays here, and so do the families who care for it. While billionaires and corporations can shift financial assets with the click of a mouse, family farmers cannot move an 80-acre field. They cannot move their equipment across state lines, and we shouldn't be penalized for it. Since 2013, Illinois has taxed estates above $4 million, a number that hasn't been adjusted for inflation in over a decade. Now let's be clear, both federal and state law exempt property passed to surviving spouse, but when that land is passed to children, grandchildren, nieces, and nephews, the very people we raise to carry on our tradition, that's when the tax hits, and it hits hard. Now is the time to pass a tax for this tax relief legislation. The governor has publicly stated his support for our family farmers. We need to hear legislation on the floor and in committees, and that we still have time to do it this session, and this is very important to the family farms here, and the governor supports it, and we need his support to get that through. In 2025, the federal state tax exemption will be nearly $14 million per individual and double that for married couples. But as the federal law sunsets as scheduled, those exemptions could be cut in half, ending even more pressure to these family farms. Much of Illinois land is still owned by men and women who live on it and farm it. But unless tax policies are changed, this will no longer be the case. Most U.S. states currently do not charge an estate tax or an inheritance tax, or have already repealed their taxes on estates and inheritance. Iowa is the most current state that has done that. Under current law, only 16 states charge estate inheritance tax, and 34 states do not charge any such tax. Here's another example of Illinois being at or near the bottom of a list that we should not be on, or if we want to encourage growth in our #1 industry. Only 5 states have a lower exemption threshold from Illinois. with large states like New York having a much larger exemption threshold, which is 6.9 million. Many of our Republican caucus members, as Jason and Dan said, have filed bills for tax relief for the state or the death tax, to eliminate the death tax in Illinois. We have a responsibility to pass tax relief onto our family farms, and so that we can stabilize and ultimately save those farms for the family in Illinois. Let's stand up for the farmers who have stood by the state for generations. Let's end the unfair burden that the Illinois estate tax places on agriculture, and let's improve our state here.